Hey guys, this is Nicole from Networth with another tutorial on how to hack the heck out of Canva. In today's video, I'm sharing how I pulled off the glass shatter effect all in Canva. So 100% Canva, you're not having to pull it out anywhere. So yeah, let's look at it. So many pieces here, so you're going to have some type of finesse, but I'll try and walk you through it. I'll try and recreate this exactly. I did a lot at the time, so we'll see if I can get it really close. Here are all the pieces. This one, wall in office window. This is apps icon breaks glass. This one is cracked black screen, Los Angeles homelessness, cracked phone screen, broken glass on a black background. This one was actually a video, and the video is called Side View of Glass Breaking. This border shadow illustration, we've got a lock of wig, lens flare 06, and then we have this business woman running. So here are all the pieces edited. Like, this is kind of the target of what I put together actually. This broken screen glass here, and this probably came from, yeah, so this started out like this one here, and that one came from this one. And I did a mock-up. So when you go into edit image, smart mockups, there's this one here, and actually no, I think I used this one. Yeah, I used this one here, and then I just flipped it. So that's what we're going to do for the composite as well. This is the composite. Again, I took this and this, put them together, and as you notice here, here's what it actually looks like before I downloaded the composite, and we ended up flipping it before putting it back into Canva in order to put it on the mockup, because the mockup is flipped the other way. So we're going to have to flip the image first before we put it into the mockup. This here is this, just with a removed background, and this here is this, just with a removed background. And same with this, just some extra little shattered pieces with a removed background. So let's start with this composite background. Let's build it out. So I'm going to take both of my images and I'm going to paste them here. Okay, so now they're kind of lined up halfway. And the next thing, which I didn't include in the pieces, but they're just these little splatters. They're called Radial Ink Splash Illustration. And I use these just because of the splatters here to kind of make it congruent. But I'm pretty sure there's some good really fuzzy ones, like if you were to, let's see what they have here, splatter. So they have some nice ones here. Just gonna look in graphics. This one here, that'll give you some fractional paint here. Maybe if you find something smoother, just whatever texture you have, I would just use some splatter, maybe like a smudge or something like that, just to make it a little easier to blend. You could also find one in photo. Good thing about photo, like for instance this one, if you use a photo as opposed to a vector graphic, you can come in here and blur it and kind of, you know, it'll just melt a little easier there. Obviously the downfall of that is, you know, not being able to change that color to match. So that's why I went for a graphic instead of a photo. You could of course try some tinting and things of that nature and use an X process. But that would take a little longer, but you could. If you wanted to have like a really smudged out look, you definitely could. Okay, but I just used this, and then we did some color matching, and I just duplicated it and put it along these lines. I kind of stopped at the window because it just looked really stupid, so I just kind of picked up the colors from here. Like when I click this image here, go to the color panel, Canva will show you photo colors, so it's a lot easier, but it'll give you like a broad range of colors. So then you'll have to kind of use your picker to pick up whatever color is in here. And then of course I'm going to want to do another color, but I'm going to want it to be this color. It's lighter brown. Of course this color is the color of this wall. And so I basically just kind of laid it over here. So everything coming from this wall should kind of be on top of any brown pieces you do over here. And I'm going to take that picker, choose this color. As you see, you don't want the brown all the way over here. So I'm going to bring this to the front and kind of just ease it on over until you kind of have the consistency that you want. Okay. So I'm definitely not going to do all of that over again. That did take me some time, just certain finesse that you want. So, but as you can see, it's kind of blending in to each other there. That could be a lot cleaner, but again, I'm just going to move through this. All right, so we kind of want to do the same thing for the street versus the flooring here. So we're just going to take this splatter again and just bring it down here and just start to cover up the pieces here, and then we can obviously change the color. But then you have this here composite. So it's going to look really funky right in here because as you can see when we came up here, we did kind of an overlaid up composite as well. We took the background out of the right composite just so that we can make it continual. And we did the same thing for this window frame here. And we removed the background from the original, placed it, and had it overlaying the composite so it can just look a lot better. So then you would download your finished composite, and then you can upload it right back into Canva and then flip it. Okay? So again, that is how we accomplish this one. It's this, but flipped. And the reason being, we are going to use the mock-up, and the mock-up is at an orientation that we want to flip it. So that's why. Otherwise, you would just leave it like that. Now that I have the composite version complete, we want to place the mobile device with the screen. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image here, our reverse composite, and I'm going to size it up just maybe a little bigger, maybe a little less, just so that it doesn't sink into the background like it does. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that mock-up. And actually what I will do is I will customize it so that it can be a little bigger because you want it to match up with what you have. Let's see if I can flip this first. Yep, there we go. Flip it, and then you really want it to match up with what you have here. And this is going to be a little smaller. So just place it, vertical positioning, there we go. It doesn't really have to be perfect because you want it to look like it's kind of warped, right? But yeah, that's good, that's cool. I'm going to apply that. So that is looking great so far. As you can see, we did the composite. We've added some elements on top of the composite, which we just removed the background from the original images and placed it on top just to match, just so that this area here can blend in and just really make it look like those two scenes are one scene. And then we saved that, downloaded that, reversed it and flipped it and put it back into Canva just so that we can use this particular smart mockup. And now we need to create the glass effect right inside of this screen to make it look like someone can break out of it. So the next thing I did was I took this cracked black screen here and I did two things with it. So let's take the original. I'm going to kind of chop it down here. This is just going to serve as the base of the screen here, so it's kind of going to look like this in the end, and this is really only going to give it that sheer effect. This is not actually where we're going to apply the breaks to, but I did want like the entire thing to be covered. So I'm going to size this up, and then I just went and used the same mock-up, and then of course customize it to kind of fill the screen. Alright, then we click apply, and then we can size it down to just be exactly like this one. Okay, and then I went ahead and just brought the brightness up a whole lot. Actually, let me see if I can copy. Yep, let me copy this filter here, filter code. If you guys don't know, once you apply a bunch of, adjustments and filters and such, you can just copy the filter code and go to the other image and paste the filter code, and it will apply the same effects. That's a secondary way to apply adjustments, and then the other way to apply external styling is just to use your copy style, and there we have it. But yeah, just so you can see exactly what I did there. The brightness is all the way up. I played with the contrast, the saturation. Well, that's pretty much all I did. But I wanted it to be like, I wanted the white of the cracked screen to really show and that dark to be really deep. And then I just took that opacity down a whole lot just so that it can be a film of glass. So we know that it's glass, right? This is not glass, that's see-through. And then the glass. Now, of course, when the lady breaks out of there, we can't have all of that in the way. So additionally, what I did, let's copy the filter code. I really blurred it out a lot and made it almost opaque. Now you're wondering why you did all that work just to do that. But in the final one, I liked it when it was just barely visible. You can obviously blur it less if you want a little more cracked. Here is fine too, but you just want kind of like a film. The next thing I want to do is actually place the lady, because following that we're going to get rid of a lot of this just so that she can break out of it. So we're going to go back into background remover and use that eraser tool to be able to kind of cut out where she's coming through. Here we go. All right, and this one you want to place behind. And then you're going to have another one that kind of cuts off exactly where the rim of the phone cuts off. Literally zoom in and do it, because if you don't, it's going to be off. So now we want to take this here, little blurry screen, and we want to remove the background. And we are going to erase a big chunk, like here, kind of where she is busting out. And you may have to do this a few times, just because there's no way of you seeing what's behind it. That would be cool, Canva. All right, apply. And let's go back and add my filter code in. So yeah, okay, cool. She's busting out of there. No biggie. I might want to take some from here. So we would just do it again. Doesn't have to be perfect, because this again is the layer that is going to be a little blurry, but you definitely will be able to tell if you don't cut out this area. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and adjust that again. Probably better just to cut it out first and then adjust it. I don't know why, but Canva always defaults it back. So now we have to add in that code again. Okay, so there we go. Super subtle. I may even want to do a little more. Okay, so that's the idea for her breaking out of the glass. You want to do the same exact thing with your pieces. So take your cracked black screen, and I'm going to place it first. I made another one. I'm going to put it, let's see, behind her, because again, I want to cut this out. So edit image, background remover, and then erase. Now obviously this didn't pick up everything. I believe that happened the first time I did it, so that's a bummer. But you're just gonna have to go in and finesse it, take it out yourself. Does not have to be perfect, guys, because it's gonna be visible, but you know, barely. Or I mean, if you got the time. If you've got the time and the steady hands, go ahead. Make it perfect. Good enough. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna click done, and I'm actually going to just duplicate that because that was entirely too much work for me. So, okay. Now she's kind of in the way, so I'm gonna move her out the way. So pretty much sometimes what I do, especially when I'm doing composites like this or when there's a lot of elements, I'm just gonna create a new thing here, and I'm gonna copy, remove her, and paste her here, because when you do that in Canva, if you just copy it back, it'll paste it in the exact same spot. So you probably knew that, but if you didn't, now you know. Okay, but anyways, I wanna cut out again the same kind of area here. So I'm going to go back into background remover and take my erase tool and just kind of, remember this is the top portion, so I'm going to cut out something here, see what we got. I'm going to paste her back in here, see what we got. Okay, so we've got a little piece back behind here that we want to remove, but this seems okay, maybe a little. So now we've got to do the bottom the same way. Obviously her foot is coming out here. So we want to take away this kind of area here. And we may want to take away some of this area here. Okay. Okay, so I really wanted to just add a lot more glass because again, what we did here is kind of like a basis for the glass, right? This is just, if you're looking at your phone, it's cracked, but now we actually need glass to really crackle and pop around her. So I'm going to use this, and this was taken from this here. So if we just go ahead and remove that background. Why I'm using this, look, don't ask me. I found it so hard to find really good glass, and maybe it's because, you know, I have my patience issues. The way my patience is set up, guys. It just, if I have to scroll for like more than a minute, and a minute is really long, then I can't. So I can take what I can get, okay? So I did the background remover. I removed this piece as well. And this is going to serve as something I use over and over and over again. So I'm going to duplicate it, move it over here. So yeah, now we obviously have to recolor this because we want it to be white. And then, so again, if you look in the original, you have some pieces over here, and that's basically what I used it for, but I also used some in this corner here, okay, so that it would go over her. So that's how I did that. So we have so far, let's recap. We have our composite here. We placed our mock-up of the device first, and then we kind of imprinted a flipped version of that composite in there so that it can kind of overlay with the composite. Then we wanted to add a faux screen to the device where the composite sits, and we cut out some pieces so that she can come through. We laid her in there, and then we just are adding and embellishing. We're going to keep adding on top so that it looks like there's glass breaking out. Okay, I'm going to put this behind her at least. Maybe here. I might have rotated it a little bit. Not too shabby. And then I just added more embellishments here. This is the broken glass on black background. I just went ahead and removed that background and placed it in areas where I wanted to fill in. I just felt like it just was easier than going back and erasing or restoring. I just went ahead and put some cracks. Obviously this is going to have to go behind her. So it's all about, you know, just awareness. Spatial awareness. That's really the only trick of this thing. And then I want to put this really light crack here. You know, fill in areas where, you know, there were mistakes made in the cutting of it. Okay, good enough. Okay, I also had another additional piece, and this again came from that video. And basically what I did is I just played the video, copied where I wanted it to, so print screen, and then you can paste that back into Canva. Again, I just had a very, very hard time of finding pieces that I wanted. I wanted small pieces, jagged pieces, little pieces, and it just is really easy. It's just so much easier to find it in a video because there's that motion there. And when you want this to look like motion, like a motion picture that's still, you're going to want to use still images from an actual video. Okay, so again, play it up to where you like it. You've got some big pieces here. I love that. Some nice pieces here. And then you would just print screen or I use actually something called Light Shot. And that is right in Chrome browser. And you can literally with a click of a button take a screenshot and pick out anything on the screen. I'll drop that down below in the description just so you know. And then I just would paste that right back into Canva, remove the background. Okay. And that's pretty much how I came up with this little piece here, one of these frames. So I'm going to just move that piece down here. You know how to do it, lighten it up, bring some clarity, contrast, play with the shadowing, the shadows and the highlights, bringing the shadow all the way down so that the deep parts of the glass are really deep and the highlights of the glass are really highlighted so that you can tell. And then I think for this one I added, let's see, I might have added a glow. Yeah, I added a white glow to this one. And you might could add a white glow to that one too, and that'll just help it pop off of that background. As you can see when I'm going over her black attire here, there's a little white glow. And I just wanted to place this like over her feet, just again, so when you think about it, if you're busting out of glass and you kick it out with your feet, there's going to be some shrapnel coming from your feet, right? So you just have to think in terms of reality when you're designing something like this. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the glass part. The only other thing I did, and this is just fancy work, is I wanted to look like, to really bring that edge of she's changing from office to going out to the homeless. I really wanted to change the color. She's a little more vibrant. You know, when she's out there, she's skip the corporate world, darling, and get out there into the world and help people. So what I did was I kind of colored her with a filter, did the same for her hair. And that way you can kind of see she's got some brown hair back here. She's got her black attire, and then it moves into a more vibrant purplish color. So again, this is over her. And so I'm just going to paste it down here just so that it can preserve the positioning. But I'm going to get rid of this for now because I need to edit her. So I went down to Photogenic and Belvedere, applied that, and maybe just a little more saturation, just play with it. If you want her to be just a little more saturated, as you can see. What I did was pretty subtle, but you can just kind of get really creative if you want to. And let's say you want it to be super saturated, but maybe not her skin. Then I would just duplicate it again, kind of cut it off just a little bit here, or just go in and erase it, you know, with your background remover, and just erase her skin out of there. That way you can kind of tint this up how you want to. So, and then the only other thing I did was I took some more hair, and this is again totally optional. This is the finesse part. And I removed the background and kind of just placed it behind her, because I really wanted her hair to, because it doesn't really show much. Like her hair is super colorful here and then not a lot here. So I needed to show more brown hair here. So that's pretty much what I did. So that is how I accomplished it. That was crazy, guys. That was super crazy. This is not something that I can like literally teach step by step. Do this, do this. But once you understand the concepts, again, taking that composite, blending those two worlds together, placing her in the center of that world, pushing her from one to the other, breaking out of that glass, you've got it. You've got the look. So I hope this helped you hack the heck out of Canva. Do let me know in the comments. Please do like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. And so yeah, I'll do more. All right, guys. Peace.